And we are live again. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I have Cody Moose in the Who's Cloudology / Motor Mouse Garage back again to talk more shit about EVs. Just kidding. We love EVs. All right, so real quick, guys, to preface, this is a kind of a spinoff of the previous stream. I don't want to say continuation because we're not going to continue where we left off. We would rather go through our previous stream about EVs and discuss some of the comments, because I actually got a lot of comments on that stream, and some of them were kind of I don't know, Cody. It seems like some of them might not have even watched the video.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that not even reading comprehension, but watching comprehension is apparently not at an all-time high. But we'll get to it in the comments. We'll get to it.
I think some people might have just seen the title of the video, and they might have just been like, "Oh,
they got clickbait."
Yeah, they got clickbait. they got. And they fell for it, and they were like, all the EV lovers were like, "Oh, these people don't like EVs. We gotta get them." Okay, so in our previous stream, which by the way, guys, that wasn't even our final form. This isn't even our final form either, by the way. But the previous stream, that was something me and Cody threw together because at 30 minutes before, because I needed to do a stream because I didn't stream all that week, and I think EVs are FNG. Just kidding, they're great. And Cody here is a distinguished auto mechanic / also tech guy, and EVs are kind of like a tech thing now. So we decided to talk about it and give just basically our opinion as to, and I even said in the stream, me personally, I don't want an EV. I don't see the purpose for it for what I do. But if I did happen to want one, I think some of them are cool. And I think even right before the stream, me and Cody were talking about the Tesla Cybertruck. I actually was telling Cody that this weekend, when me and some people were going out of the Keys, I saw a Hummer EV driving. I think it's a badass truck, dude. 10,000 pound truck that can go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and crab walk. I mean, it's pretty cool, right? But
yeah,
just my personal opinion of the premises of it. If you're actually going to take those vehicles to go overlanding, you're going to go off roading or something like that. Something about it is just a little kind of off, and it's like if you're gonna go scuba diving, but you're gonna wear a skydiving suit to go scuba diving. It just kind of doesn't really make sense. I don't know if that was a great analogy or not. But do you have anything you want to say, Cody, or should we just get up straight to the comments?
We can just get to it.
Oh, and by the way, before the stream started, when I scheduled it today at 1 o'clock, because the title is "Should you buy an EV?" and someone just commented on the live chat earlier and just said no. So I was like,
based.
This guy does. What up? New Horizons in the house. Buy an EV ? He says, screw that. I'll make one. You can get that motor in a Mustang EV for $800.
I follow this guy on Instagram that made the Land Cruiser an EV. He literally, I think he used
80 series.
I don't think he used Tesla. Yeah, it was an 80 series. I don't think he used Tesla motors or anything. He used some American manufacturer like that. But it was pretty sick. It only had a range of 30 miles or something like that, but it was pretty good. It was pretty sick.
Speaking of the comments, because remember we were kind of going over them before the stream and the price to replace a battery. Does this comment sound true from New Horizons? Buy an EV. You said you can get the motor in the Mustang EV for $800. That's kind of cheap, right?
That sounds super cheap. I mean, maybe I could see maybe the motor. I think the battery packs are really the expensive thing, because the motor is just a giant normal 3-phase motor, right? So it's not anything revolutionary. So I would imagine the motor will probably be cheap, but the batteries and all the management systems, that's going to be where the money's spent or the time spent. I even watched this guy who converted a BMW E30 into an EV. I don't remember what his Instagram name is because he changed it. But he did all of the modules and custom coding himself. So it was pretty sick, how he did it. So again, I don't hate AVs or EVs. I mean, hate
we don't hate them, but
the fact that the government is financing it and fucking it up for everybody as usual. That was the point of the video for those of you who are not paying attention to what we were saying. But
dude, you know what else too? Real quick before we get to the comments from the old video, I was thinking about this earlier. So you remember do you remember when, and we weren't necessarily alive, but we knew the reason why in the 90s, but before in the 80s, really I think it started in the 70s, and and it compounded in the 80s when they stopped making big block V8s, right? They're like it's lay bad, so you guys need to stop doing that. And then the engines
when the gas crisis was
yes,
pretty serious during that time.
Right. Exactly. And kind of having like a gas crisis kind of now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But what happened was basically they started trying to downsize the size of engines, right? And in the 80s, like we had, pretty much most of the muscle cars in the 80s were like crap compared to, except for like, an IROC. But anyway, other than that, even all the Corvette engines were like kind of poo-poo in the 80s.
Yeah, because that was the C4, right? The C4 Corvette that had the aluminum block and head engines, the LT something, I think it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
When did the Fox body? Okay, Fox body came 80s. Out. Okay. When did the 5.0 for the Fox body come out?
I don't think that was until later on because I think it used it was like the 4 something, 4.2, 4.6 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, guys. So what had happened was in the 80s, like horsepower became like a thing of the past when it was like we had the technology to like make really powerful engines. They just weren't very fuel efficient. And the government was like, nope, slapped a bunch of regulations. And we try to make all these like smaller sized engines. And what inevitably happened was what I'm going to say. I'm not the distinguished government and Ford, Honda, whatever official here, but it seems to me like we didn't really have good technology back then to make smaller, efficient engines, right? And so
the Japanese whooped our ass.
Yeah, the Japanese whooped their ass. And so what did we do? Then when the gas crisis really wasn't big of a problem anymore, all the car companies were like, all right, screw this. We're putting like good quality engines back in here. We put better quality engines. And then, now the kind of same thing is happening on a different scale. And it's funny too, because nowadays we actually can make really powerful smaller size engines, right? Like if you get like a twin turbo 6-cylinder, can make like 450 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. It's like way more powerful than any like 8-cylinder back in the day. But we're like 30 years in the future, right? So maybe the thing with the EVs, I'm kind of getting like a similar vibe that in the future it's going to be like, hey, no, like maybe in the future we can actually make good EVs, but now it might just be kind of forced, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah, man. The government subsidies are really dragging this industry down. There's a not funny analogy, but if you look at the history of the railroad at all, you'll see that the only person that didn't take a government subsidies from the railroad are basically the only railroad in existence today and throughout time. So I just thought all the other railroad companies went bankrupt, basically.
Go figure. You don't say. Yeah. All right, dude. Let's get into this. So let's go back to the first comment here from Kurtz Z X CVB 3481. Yeah, they can do the same by shutting down your credit card, saying you can't buy any more gas. All these points you make can be done with gasoline cars too. All right, I believe we covered that, didn't we?
Yeah, this guy doesn't understand what these two channels are about. Hashtag buy Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean that's obviously true, but nothing's stopping you from buying a 1997 Toyota Land Cruiser with zero technology in it at all. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean they could shut down the gas pumps, but at that point, like pretty much everything stops and we have bigger problems,
Yes. And we mentioned that. I think at the end of the stream, we even said something about like, what's his name from Fast and Furious? Remember the guy from Fast and Furious? The guy from Fast and Furious that he unalived in like a car accident. Remember that?
Oh yeah, Mr. Paul Walker.
Paul Walker, yeah, and it was kind of like there was some suscitory behind it. But anyway, I guess this guy just didn't watch the video. All right, Dragnet3 says, sorry, when you're a delivery driver and constantly making repairs on your car, then I would rather take on an electric vehicle.
That's a good point. I think that's a solid point because he's talking in a context of like living in a major metropolitan city, I'm assuming, or just a city in general, right? That tracks, dude. We never said anything like that wasn't the case. We were talking about remote areas and how we're using like truck EVs for like remote excursions, right? So it wasn't really our point behind EVs. We're not saying, like I said, we've said multiple times in the last video and in this stream, we don't hate AVs or EVs. We just understand the implications of going all EV for everything. You know what I mean?
Can you like? So I'm confused here because being an ignorant non-EV owner, is the cost to repair an EV less? Because in the comment underneath this guy, they're saying the opposite. Or is it just that you're going to be is going to be in the shop less, or what is he saying?
Yeah, I think that's what he's getting at. So, there really is no maintenance for the first 10 years on an EV other than like brake fluid and tires and brakes. But I think even the braking systems are pretty good because they use regenerative braking.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you compare it to like, I mean, I guess a new car, but even then you're only at the dealership like once a year in a new car because, you have 10,000 mile oil intervals now. You know what I mean? So, but I guess if you had like an older
miles, if you do that, you're done. But anyway,
yeah, definitely change it before then. But anyway, if like you had an older vehicle, I could see, that being a thing. But yeah, it tracks.
People are gonna wait till 10,000 or even more. But anyway, real quick, Bull Stu says instead of EV conversation, drop in an EV motor with a small power plant and convert SUV or truck into a plug-in hybrid. Yeah, I mean that's basically what they're doing with the F-150 Power Boost does that. The Toyota Tundra TRD Pro iForce Max or whatever does that. The Japanese have been doing that with Toyota has at least been doing that with lots of vehicles for a while, and it's like I think we talked about that last stream. Like, that's the CEO of Toyota was like, yeah, that works and it makes sense, but EVs don't really make sense to us. So we're not going to do an EV until it makes sense. EV motors are beefed up, power drill motors. Yeah. The EV motor is just a phase 3 brushless motor.
Yeah.
Kyle W in the house says, oh no, hurricane knocked out the power. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the on the map earlier, Kyle. It looked kind of sus, getting a little too close to us. They keep saying it's going to go north, but it looks like it's keep coming our way. Might be evacuating. We'll see. Let's get to the next comment. All right, this is a big one. So, all right, this guy says, Todd Warner 2081 says, you guys miss a few big issues with EVs. One is the cost to replace the battery if the car is involved in a relatively minor accident that happens to damage the battery packs. Damaged batteries are a deadly fire hazard. I heard of one instance where the cost to repair a newer car that was in a relatively minor accident that would have been a few thousand in body damage repairs and gasoline vehicles ended up costing half the price of the car because the battery packs were damaged and had to be replaced. That is, the repair cost was something like $30,000 for a relatively minor accident. If insurance companies had to cover such high repair costs, then insurance costs are going to go through the roof, just like in Florida's home insurance costs. I mean, by the way,
dude, car insurance is going through the roof. Yeah. My rates just went up $40.
Dude, I
literally just complained about that today. It was funny.
Someone at stand up on Friday on my team stand up was like, my car insurance went up 3x in the last 2 years, and he's like, my car is like an old Honda. I don't understand. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, all insurance is going up. Another issue is that digital consoles will leave the vehicle without the ability to see speed, etc. Okay, hold on. Digital consoles will leave the vehicle without the ability to see the speed.
If the console goes dark.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So like, what if if the battery just goes dry?
Yeah. Or not only that, but like if you have a fault with the screen, which is funny because we had that issue in a Jaguar, so we switched over to basically a screen for the gauge cluster, right? And it would just turn off like randomly at times. Like you'll be driving and you just have nothing. You have no instruments, and it was like a huge safety recall issue. It's funny that he mentioned that.
Yeah, I bet.
Jaguar XJ. It was like 2012 era when that started happening, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, no, that's a good point too. Like most even gasoline cars have mostly screen based gauge clusters and stuff like that. So
yeah,
which is why I don't like them. But
mine has a screen gauge cluster, and I also don't necessarily trust it 100%. I don't even know if like the data is good, but I mean, you would assume it is, right? But I just think the conventional is a little bit more trustworthy. He also says if the console goes dark and needs repair, if these digital displays are damaged, they're going to be costly to repair in some cases. Will need to be programmed for the specific card that they are being installed into. In my opinion,
Very true.
The old style mechanical gauges are more reliable and less costly to repair. I don't want to see these new computer screens to act as my car's gauges. The next issue dovetails with your comment about the government having control. Not only will the government have control, but so will the car companies. That is true. We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah.
You want to say what I think?
Yeah, because BMW recently just rolled back their decision to pay monthly for heated seats for their vehicles. But just the fact that they have the power to do that, and they were actually going to implement it until like the community like had a huge backlash and basically like
rightfully so, dude.
Boycotted. Yeah, dude, I already bought the vehicle. Why are you going to charge me monthly to use my fucking heated seats? Honestly, car companies are really reminding me of video game companies right now, where they're just releasing new features on the same old fucking cars, or just like giving you a car that's not even done yet, and they're like, okay, you guys are going to beta test, and then we'll just fix it as it goes along.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I see that a lot in the new car industry.
The recalls are like normal now.
Yeah,
it's
I mean they've always been a thing. To be fair,
at least in the last 10 years, dude. Yeah. There is talk that car companies are moving to subscription-based model. We just talked about that. Where instead of owning, say, heated seats, if you want to say heated seats on these new EVs will cost maybe $10 per month, or the car company can turn that feature off remotely. So loss of control over certain features and loss of control over cost of ownership is a concern to me. I don't want to rent heated seats, etc. I want those features. I don't want to have to worry about a car company decide to raise my cost for everything. I mean, you could always like just go and jailbreak it if you really wanted to. If you own the car, you can just jailbreak it. But that's stuff that I wouldn't want to deal with either. Yeah, I mean, this guy has good
your
points.
average person is not going to jailbreak it. I mean, there are always ways around everything, right? It just depends on how much effort you're willing to go through.
Yeah. His comment, by the way, New Horizon says, damn, I can't find the $700 engine I've seen a couple months ago. Yeah, I don't know, New Horizon, because of this comment before the stream, we looked this up, and we were Google searching the cost of a Tesla battery replacement. Sorry, I kicked the screen. Tesla battery replacement, and it's Google just said $5,000 to $20,000. So I don't know. I guess
the battery,
true, but depends
batteries
on
are very expensive. Even the earlier ones were pretty expensive.
Yeah. Spark 55 says, "Will to answer this question quick? No." And high insurance premiums on EVs too. Really?
Are they really? I would have guessed the opposite, but that's interesting. I would have guessed
the opposite too. But then again, high insurance premiums on everything right now.
Yeah, that's
new
true.
At least. New Horizon says it's cheaper to find an older vehicle and buy a new engine and standalone management system, so you can do everything on your own.
Case in point, my entire channel over the last year, the Motor Mouse Garage channel, was me doing that exact same thing. Basically, got a brand new car for just under $20,000, so pretty good.
Probably much more quality than you could go. Well, I mean, you can't even, I don't think there's any brand new car for sale for $20,000, is there?
Not anymore.
Yeah, no. The only problem with older cars is rust, but other than that, superior in almost all ways.
Find you a desert car, man. Arizona, New Mexico, California, Texas.
Okay, so and this guy commented. This is the guy from over here. The same thing about shutting down your credit card. Damn, this dude commented one. Hold on.
Yeah, this guy's pretty upset with us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that a fedora? No, it's just
please don't. Please let that be fake.
Okay, he says, what did he say now? Oh yeah, maintenance costs. I hope a lot cheaper. Have 169,000 miles on it. All that to do is change the tires, Kevin filter, and windshield. Yeah, Kevin, capital K, Kevin filter, and windshield wipers. No oil changes, no spark plugs, no spark plug wires. Nothing money in your bank. You have to calculate total return on investment. He says total ROI, total return on investment. Okay. And then he says, laughing emoji. I find it hilarious people talking about electric cars who've never owned one. Yeah, I'm a dumb hillbilly, and I have a Chevy Bolt full electric driving across country 5 times, no problem. Goes 260 miles on a charge, takes about 40 miles to charge it. Damn, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry that you have to wait 10 hours to charge your Chevy Bolt every
about 5 minutes to get the same range.
Yeah.
It's just the saying.
It takes 40 minutes to charge it. that time I have to take a piss and get something to eat and stretch my legs 90% of the time. I'm going to call bullshit in the 40 minutes, but 90% of the time I leave my house fully charged, like leaving the house with full tank of gas every single time, not have to waste my time sitting in a gas. Hey, Kurt Z.
Those two statements just contradicted each other.
This is a very long sentence. This is a paragraph sentence, sir. You need to. I know that we are the dumb hillbillies, but I believe that if you were to take like a second grade English class, I think you would have been introduced to the period and the comma and the Oxford comma. They're very, very helpful when trying to have a conversation over text. It makes it a lot more readable. But I'm still going to read your really long run-on sentence here. Waste my time sitting at a gas station unless I go on a long road trips when I charge from home, which is 90% of the time, cost me a whopping $2.10 to go 163 miles. I guess I'm laughing my dumbass all the way to the bank. But wait, there's more. You use it for a business and I get 63 cents back on the government's every mile oh God, ...
Oh, I didn't see the read more.
I could be driving my dumbass diesel truck for work. Not even covering the diesel with my electric car. I'm putting money in the bank. Oh, yeah. And it's a hell of a lot easier to make electric power from solar pedals, he said. I'm not sure what a solar pedal is. I know what a solar panel is, but I'm not sure what a solar pedal is. Than it is to freaking refine raw oil for my diesel truck. I ran it on French fries for a while, but started using used transmission oil for running my diesel. I should actually try it before you diss it. Fat chicks need love too. LOL.
What a wild ride that sentence was.
I'm really I've lost the point of the sentence. I don't understand. Error.
I think he's saying it's cheaper overall to fuel an EV, which depending on where you are, in California, maybe not.
It's for my truck, maybe not. For sure. But
yeah.
We never said anything about I don't think we said anything about the cost in the last video, did we?
No, I don't think we did.
I don't think so either.
It's definitely cheaper than gas, for sure.
For now.
Jinx. But and then he was saying like the amount of effort it takes to, refine oil for diesel. You should look up how they make lithium batteries, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. That process is a lot more involved and a lot more detrimental in every aspect than refining oil, what we've been doing for like 100 years plus now.
I'm going to say so too. But that's one of the big things that I feel like they're trying to hide about it, because if people knew what was going on with like the lithium mines, just the lithium mine alone and how they're run, not even taking into considering the fact that like it's not good for the earth, then, kind of that whole sort of narrative is going to be, diminished a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny how people never mention that. People are always like, oh yeah, EVs are better for the planet. But it's like, do you not understand how some of these batteries are made?
Reminds me of a couple other things I think I can think about.
Yeah.
I won't mention. Soto 123 in the chat with the cowboy emojis. Adam Heat says, have you guys discussed availability of infrastructure as more people get EVs? No, we didn't. Well, did we?
I think we touched on it like real briefly. Infrastructure-wise,
there's like
we were in a rush.
Yeah, I think what we did talk about was like if you're driving cross country, you're kind of like you're at the whims of like where your charging stations could possibly be, right? And you can't necessarily take whatever route you want.
Yeah. Well, I did mention about how the person I know getting a Rivian was telling me about how you have to charge your EV during certain times depending on where you live in California. And that's because of their shitty infrastructure, basically, or overloaded infrastructure. I don't really know if it's shitty, to be fair. But it's definitely overloaded. I mean, there's been an explosion of EV vehicles in that state. Coincidence?
Maybe? Question mark. Adam, I mean, I'm not gonna say whether or not. I mean, I'll leave my opinion out of it. Let's just assume that the government subsidies for these EVs and the government incentives for the EVs for people to buy them, like the tax breaks, continue, and let's assume that the supply chain for the lithium batteries and the manufacturing and all that stuff for the vehicles is going to like accelerate in the next 10, 20, 30 years, then I would have to assume that they're also going to increase the availability for things like charging stations. So I would assume that the infrastructure is going to get better, but again, that's like
Texas ERCOT has entered the chat.
yeah, that's not necessarily like it's not a done deal yet, right? So it's like you're kind of eating the butter before the bread, you know. Whereas the case with gasoline powered vehicles, I mean carbon based vehicles, TM, regular combustion engines, like we already have the infrastructure there. We've had infrastructure for for error 404 for combustion engines and stuff like that before
over 100 years.
Yeah, for over 100 years, right? So like it's not a non-issue. Whereas like this we would have to basically redo. Like imagine replacing every single gas station with a charging station, and imagine it making like as fast as getting like filling up your tank, like 5-10 minutes, right? So I don't know. Do you have any opinion on that, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, there was a proposition a little while ago that I remember reading about where people were like, "Oh, why don't we just set up fast charge battery or fast replacement batteries like when you go to these shops, right?" I'm like, depending on what car brand you go with, changing the battery is anything but fast, and you're better off just waiting for it to charge. Because even when I was working on the EV for Jaguar, it takes quite a bit of manpower to change the whole battery itself. Like there's a lot of shit involved with doing that. So it's not going to be fast either way. But I mean that could change in the future. Cars could or manufacturers could make it easier to change the main battery out, right? Where it just drops out from the bottom, which most of them do. But yeah, it's there are other solutions to it, but I'm not sure if they're any better right now. But yeah, that's what it made me think of right there, infrastructure wise. Because people are always like, well, you can just recycle the batteries from car to car, and I'm like, well, no, you can't because they're proprietary. You guys don't understand how car manufacturers work. They all use the same parts, but they use them in such a different way that they're incompatible with each other. Like all of these electronics that all these cars use are pretty much the same, like throughout all brands. Like, they're called different things and they do different things, but they're so different. They made them different on purpose. So you have to buy from their brand. Mm-hmm. And they do the same thing with EVs and the same thing with batteries, because that's how car manufacturers make their money. They make their money off of repairs. They make their money off of the service department in dealerships, and now they make their money off of dealers upselling the shit out of their cars because they made their internal combustion engine so reliable that nobody goes in for service anymore. So that's my big auto conspiracy theory. That's why the markups are happening more often now, is because they lost a lot of money in the service department. But I digress. But yeah. These parts aren't compatible, so that's flawed logic in itself. If you just want to swap out batteries, and they'll never make them that way because auto manufacturers have to compete about everything. Like that's how they stay alive.
Bulasu says, "I wish they would a Shayards manual transmission EV, something in the price point of a Toyota Yaris." Spark 55 says, "What the fuck is a cabin filter?"
McCabin, all right.
I wish they make a cheap EV with a manual transmission. I actually saw a video of like how they made some I think it's an Audi EV. It can mimic like a regular like 6-speed.
Just give me the real thing.
Yeah, just but it's like if you don't like it, you could turn it off. It even had like a fake rev limiter too, which is funny. Spark says, honestly, I wonder what the market would be on older-ish design cars with no electronics, or only add on electronics. Yeah, like a 69 Mustang with a nice stereo in it.
Let me tell you, it's bumping. That market is bumping. As a connoisseur of old cars, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, for example, dude, I see stuff for sale on like Cars and Bids all the time. It's like, I'm like, what the fuck? How is that thing like $25,000? But anyway.
Yeah,
Sorry,
dude.
go
I
ahead.
don't think you can get a classic like muscle car for like under like 60K now, which is pretty ridiculous for how old those cars are. And even like my BMW that I have a 98 M3. I bought it originally for like 7 grand, and I recently saw like a worse condition M3 that was very similar to
Look,
mine sell for almost $20,000.
I'm looking
And I
at
was like,
right now. I just googled 1998 BMW M3 base model 22.8K. Another one 20K. Another one 39.9K. Although it looks like it's got a lot of hoopties on it. And then 17. Oh, never mind. That's a Z. But all the M3s have always had a good market. Like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, dude, remember that I think it was like a 92 like Ford Explorer that we saw. It was like had like 80 miles on it.
yeah,
I mean,
dude. It was
that'd
like,
be cool, dude. I think it'd be cool to buy something that's basically brand new still.
hell yeah. That would be sick. Even 80 series Land Cruisers, man. People pay like 30 grand for those things. I
Same with
didn't,
runners now
but
too.
yeah.
You're right. It says Bull Sue. Oh, that's comment to him. Bruh. I'll go to an EV. I'll go to an EV when salt batteries become a thing. I don't even care. The range is only 6% of LI. Adam He also says sketchy supply chains for batteries. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. I mean, I don't work in a lithium ion mine, but if you guys go to YouTube, the platform that you're on right now, and you look up, you just search like lithium mining, there's some like documentaries, and it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like sus for sure. Swap batteries like propane tanks. Maybe we need a common spec for batteries in the future.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, unless we just all car manufacturers are just going to be like one company, which we know that's not going to happen.
Well, depending on how involved the government gets.
Oh, all right. Let's get back to the comments over here. Tesla is the only one that can actually be over to her OT updates number
Over the air updates.
over their updates number. 2, they can track you anywhere you go with your cell phone. You dumb for gum.
Actually, Jaguar also does over the air updates. Pretty much every car does over the air updates now.
Again, we mentioned
FYI.
that. We mentioned that already.
And you can also just Faraday bag your cell phone, sir.
Or you could also just
can't Faraday bag your EV. Unfortunately,
yeah, you could also just like not just leave your cell phone at home.
You can just
in your
leave
car
it.
without it. Pretty soon, Tesla, I'm assuming he means Tesla, will be the only automaker. All other ones are crap. Yeah, I know. I drive a Chevy Bolt, but I did it because I could buy it inexpensively. I think it means inexpensively.
I sense another run-on sentence coming on.
Yeah. Buy it inexpensively. Be greedy when people are fearful, and be fearful when people are greedy. I bought it when the cars were blowing up or starting on fire. May the prices drop from 33K down to 15 plus a $2,000 rebate, making it dirt cheap. But if you actually do the numbers for the cars, out of 140,000, I guess it means miles is less than 0.0023%, basically around here. Worst case scenario, they give you a new battery. Oh, and they did. And now I got more range and an 8-year extended warranty of Chevys in business out long. Everyone catching up. Tesla, 10 years. Listen, dude, 10 years ahead because all automakers were doing originally just to take government money. Okay. I'm exhausted.
There's a read more button.
Listen, sir. Listen. You bought a Chevy, all right? Fuck Chevy. That's all I have to say. Anyway, Adam Heat says, thinking about it, I don't think we need to worry about infrastructure because if inflation comes as is, only the wealthiest people will own personal vehicles. The rest of us will be in pod. Got to get some claps for that because it was kind of one of the points that we were putting on for the last video. Like this is the EV. It seems to me, guys, like it's just one more step towards having privileges revoked. We'll say it's just one more step.
An emergency being declared.
It's one more step into being in the pod. And I don't want to have to sit there and explain why. I mean, I guess we can, but we're already running on long for the stream. Maybe we'll have to do number 3, I guess, Cody. I don't know, but
maybe.
I know you get what I'm saying. Horizon says at Tech Chief, here's another idea. Go to hydrogen. All the Stanley Myers patents are free for anyone to download. Oh, dude, someone's going to show up on your front door.
You can't be saying that.
You can't be saying that stuff, dude. All internal combustion motors can use hydrogen with no such modding. Dude, you're going to have the Men in Black showing up at your door here pretty soon. Cobalt mines are even worse than lithium mines. I mean, all mines in general kind of like...
That's true.
Yeah, all mines are kind of like sus and not cool. Max Signitas in the house with the zoinks. Zoinks indeed, sir. Yeah, I think, okay, so back to this guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to insult your Chevy prowess over here. Oh, there's a read more. Oh, God. Okay, never mind. Just one more line. Government money, kind of like when you're saying Tesla's only one that actually made it work, meaning making profitable vehicles when everyone else is losing their ass. Actually,
Tesla's not even profitable. Yeah. I mean, they might be now.
Haven't they lost money on almost all EVs that they've made?
Yeah. And this ties into the next comment. Tesla literally built their entire fleet off of government money. Elon took subsidies for both SpaceX and Tesla during the early startup of that company. There was a huge lawsuit about it. He almost got sued by the government because he didn't release his car or something like that. And then he actually released it and they were like, all right, we're good now. But that was a huge thing where he was going to get sued by the government because he didn't actually make the Tesla yet. And they subsidized all that stuff.
The Dave Young comment underneath says, don't forget government won't back Tesla. I guess he means when like kind of like when all the other car manufacturers were having like the bailout skin done. Is that what he means?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I mean, Tesla already took government subsidies, so it's not really applicable. Elon does everything with government money. He's pretty smart in that aspect.
Spark 55 says Tesla is a carbon credit company, not a car company. That is true.
That is very true.
New Horizons posting Stanley A. Myers patents in the chat. He's gonna get FBI, bro.
Yep. We're all getting FBI'd. Everyone watching the stream has an NSA agent assigned to them now.
Oh yeah,
if they didn't already.
User RC7QB2KG2K says, having worked as an energy trader for big oil and befriended many petro engineers, nothing beats fossil fuels for the most bang for your buck. How ironic that societies are reverential to older / past generations, disregarding the fact that the invention of the automobile had electric power, only to conclude that gas power was best. Dude, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, this is not the first go around for all electric vehicles. This has been a thing we've been circling back to like every couple generations. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, dude. Wow. I actually didn't even think about that. If you're watching the stream again too, dude, hey, give me another great comment, because that was my mind
big
is
brain.
Like, yeah, big brain moment right there. He also says, like LCDs pushed at the start of the 2000s because television broadcasting went digital, the EV car market is a guise to overcome the reality that cars are appliances. Lasting 7+ years. And the EV push is pretextual to save the auto industry and the union jobs that vote overwhelmingly for Democrats. My bad. Wow.
Yeah. Take note of his punctuation and grammar and use of commas. It's very
quite distinguished. He seems like he's an educated man. I think he might have actually taken a second grade English class. All right, so we got another angry comment here from that guy. You really shouldn't talk about a subject in a manner that would suggest you understand it when you only have a cursory understanding at best. Actually. Neither of us claim to be EV experts. I claim to be in the tech industry. I also claim that Cody over here is also in the tech industry, and I also claimed that he was also once a mechanic. So therefore, he has a little bit more credibility in me when it comes to this. But no, neither of us are EV experts at all. We're just people giving.
I'm not an expert in anything, actually.
Nope.
Yeah. Definitely not EVs. I did. I worked on them from time to time, but there's one brand. So brands are very different. As I said, they use the same parts, but their procedures are different. The way parts work are different. But yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert in EVs. I just know I ain't buying one anytime soon. So
yeah. I'll finish with these ones. Spark says, I mean, it's funny how they talk environment, but I got some buddies working mines and their equipment still burns good old fashioned petrol diesel. I think we touched on that, but yeah, I mean, like that's like, again, that's kind of like part of the things that kind of don't make sense. And even to the point to where some of the power stations that are providing power for the EVs are either like petrol based. They're getting their power from like a petrol power grid, or like some other source that is, it's like, guys, like electricity doesn't just straight up, like we don't just like take like lightning rods and just like conduct electricity from like thunderstorms, right? It's got to come from somewhere. It's not just like electricity comes out the ground, you know? Well, if you somehow manage to Faraday cage your car, that would simply have a function where your car wouldn't get signaled. It wouldn't start.
yeah.
Soon EVs equals FedCoin for transportation. That is the comment of the night. What do you think about that comment, Cody?
Oh, for sure. That's the real intention behind everything. I mean, we've been noticing a lot. There's a lot more emergencies going on lately. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Just in time for next year. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, kind of strange. I don't know. It's probably just like coincidence.
Just coincidence.
All right, guys. That's it for tonight. We will see you guys another time.